Vagabond, in name and in practice, by Unicorn Popcorn 14. 9 days. 9 days without proper sleep that have resulted in 6 days that felt like hell on earth. Sleeping pills don't do shit with his insane tolerance. Don't even give him the blessing of death, no matter how much he swallows at once. Dazai has half a mind to bash his head into the nearest wall just so he could rest. Yet, he has been sapped of all his strength since perhaps the 3rd day, so too late for that now. Which was how he found himself begging Mori for assistance. Took some coaxing, and eventually, when the man was assured Dazai wasn't in it for the chance of overdosing, he was given a concoction the doctor created that helped with severe insomnia cases. 2 pills, that was all he was handed. 1 to gulp, and a backup in case he lost the other. He's so tired he doesn't even consider the golden opportunity of gulping both of them at once. Simply popping 1 pill in his mouth and lying down on his futon, praying it works as good as Mori made it out to be. Surely not, because Dazai might have tried everything at this point. The man is a doctor, but he's not a miracle worker, and he loves to flaunt his creations with every chance he gets. 15 minutes later, he was snuffed out. He probably snores, probably doesn't, but he certainly wakes up with drool trickling out of his lips and staining the pillow. Dazai never knew he was capable of such demeanors. Yawning as he arises while scratching his hair, eyelids too heavy to pry open. Ew, did they stick together? The second he opens his eye, he slowly wakes his mind and is instantly aware that everything's wrong. Well, aside from how disheveled his futon looks, perhaps the most disheveled it's ever been in its existence, Dazai realizes just how dimly lit it is, which is only a surprise for how he always sleeps with a light source ready in case he's ambushed in his slumber. The light bulb is off, which means the electricity's cut, which can only translate to trouble. A startled blink is given once he belatedly registers the constant rumbling of his metal home like a never-ending earthquake. That is accompanied with a loud, whirring sound that might only insinuate that the world is ending. What year is it? Dazai frantically searches for his phone, flipping it open and squinting in search for the date. Another startled blink is all he can manage. He'd missed an entire day. Bloody hell. Sleep inertia gone, he practically leaps from his futon in an effort to reach the door, but not before putting his coat on and belting his gun. To his shock, the door isn't opening. It isn't budging. Strength regained, Dazai is capable of snapping whatever apparently is a lock on the other side with multiple kicks. His container's door giving a loud, reverberating thud as it smacks onto something just in front of it. Dazai stares incredulously at the red container before him, barely any space between it and his home, and steps outside and hopes to assess his location. He gazes upwards to find a slant of the sky between more containers, stacked on top of them. Looks sideways to find 2 more rows of never-ending cargo like colorful clones. He's basically wedged on all sides with no proper space to fit. Claustrophobia creeps onto him before he can help it. Estimating his position once more, the brunette determines that climbing is the fastest way out of wherever he is. Something is prodding at him that he already knows where he is, but he refuses to acknowledge it until he's absolutely certain. It's 2 containers above his home that he has to swarm up. A gasp escapes him the moment his head pokes above the highest one. The ocean scene hits him first. Something that isn't unusual, though it's as incredibly strong and persistent as one can imagine when it's surrounding you everywhere. He flinches at the sound of a loud horn, scowls when he smells the smoke. His body numbs as he stands on top of the steel he's just climbed, unable to keep himself from gaping in sheer dismay. He's on board a cargo ship. His home's on board a cargo ship. Oh, you've got to be kidding me, he breathes. Feels the edges of his sanity holding on for dear life. This isn't real, this can't be happening. The maddening part is that it is, and Dazai chuckles in a frenzy, gripping his hair. He fishes his flip phone out once more, cursing a certain particular man like there's no tomorrow. He asked Mori for help to sleep, not fucking comatose him. Dazai finds that the phone signal is barely there, and probably has been completely blocked in the confinement of his home. Explains why he hasn't gotten any frantic call that would have woken him up. Not that he believes he could have been woken up when he couldn't feel his home being loaded as cargo. The first attempt to ring doesn't reach, and the second gets him nowhere. He stands on his tiptoes, roams around, and eventually rolls around, trying to overcome the incredibly flickery signal. A particular container he stands on gifts him with 2 bars, and he instantaneously phones his boss. The other end of the line picks up, and just as he's about to hurl every profanity he's familiar with, a gruff, younger voice greets him instead.
Fucking finally, where the fuck have you been, Dazai? Everyone's losing their goddamn minds over you for some reason.
Where is Mori-san? He interrupts, wincing at his horrid luck that made Chuuya, of all people, pick up.
Where the hell are you? It's been a day and a half, and I was just about to celebrate finally getting rid of you for good. Shucks.
Dazai's patience is thin, pinching the bridge of his nose. Hand the phone over to Mori-san. He'd like to say a thing or two.
Cool it. Mori-san's looking for you at your place.
Dazai's fists curl at that response. Great.
God knows where that is. He refused to specify what your sorry imitation of a home looks like.
Chuuya never visited. In contrary to Dazai, who invited himself in Chuuya's home more often than not, only knows that he lives in a C-van due to a slip-up on Dazai's part. Dazai sighs. Figures that being forward with his predicament will only get him a chastise. Not that he doesn't love getting on Chuuya's nerves, but he really isn't up for the persistent yapping of a tiny dog in his ear at the moment. He opts for making the situation sound as light as possible, as perhaps the slug might find amusement in it, and for that would forget to yell. Hopefully. Say, how much do you pay for international shipping fees? He deadpans.
How is that any fucking relevant right now?
Well, I think Mori-san will have to at least pay some in order to bring me back.
What?
Chuuya simply offers.
Still have no idea what you're talking about.
What else did I expect from a brainless mutt?
Huh?
I am not in Yokohama. That much is certain. Where I am is still in question. Can you make Kaji trace the call?
Wait a goddamn second. How the hell did you pay for a plane ticket and not know where you're headed? Scratch that. How come you've arrived without anyone knowing this fast? Mori-san was sure you had no missions.
Dazai faintly smiles. Simple, mon petit chien. I didn't take a plane. I woke up and found myself overseas. Isn't that convenient? The other end of the line is silent for a minute, and Dazai momentarily thinks he's lost signal, before Chuuya mutters,
Is this a joke? Because usually your jokes aren't that funny.
He ridges an eyebrow, but remains silent.
Nah.
Chuuya starts, something resembling a giggle emitting out of him.
No way.
Dazai flinches at the cackles that attack his ear.
No fucking way. You got cargo shipped in your sleep? Oh my god.
Dazai's eye widens with a glint of surprise. He didn't really think his predicament would be that amusing for the hat rack. Chuuya continues cackling. Sounds hearty and real.
I can't breathe. Ani-san, Ani-san.
Dazai pales at Koyu's response in acknowledgement.
Get this.
Koyu says something. Chuuya interrupts her.
I found him. Just take a wild guess at what happened to the bastard.
He doesn't even give her a chance to guess.
His poor excuse of a home got shipped overseas. I'm dying.
He hears the stifled laugh Koyu emits, then, to his sheer horror, the cackles that ensue. Dazai stills, stupefied. After a minute of undying laughter on the other end of the line, he gathers his wits enough to clear his voice. Are you done?
Ani-san, stay with me.
Chuuya wails between giggles, and he hears Koyu's far wheezing grow stronger and then turning into gasping.
She's fucking choking Akagawa.
Oh, brother. All of you seriously just happened to be in a single room?
We were in a meeting discussing your situation. Octagon, get some water.
Dazai hears thuds, figures that they're all currently on their knees in hysterics.
We thought your ass was kidnapped. We were preparing for war. I can't believe you.
At the reemergence of another wheezing fit, Dazai's hand limps loosely in an effort to tune out the noise. His other hand drags onto his face till his eyelids stretch, waits till Chuuya evidently tells Akutagawa of the situation, and whoever else was present. Dazai doesn't regret being alive as much as he does in that moment. Chuuya apparently reads his thoughts because he calls him an urgency, still chuckling.
Mackerel! Only mackerel!
Dazai places his phone to his ear. My, the ocean is looking extra huggable today.
No, wait.
Chuuya finally manages to stifle his laughs.
Just hold on a second. God damn it. Kaji, trace the call. I'm coming to fetch your ass.
Fetch, huh? He manages a small smile. Mischief subdued. Neat choice of words there, Chuuya.
You know what I mean.
Chuuya hangs up, and Dazai just whines while sitting on the edge, watching the ocean on the top of the mountain of cargo. His locks sway as his coat flutters, fingers messing with his hair that he hasn't bothered to brush, hands still pressing onto a single visible eye. Somehow, remnants of lethargy from his last slumber is still present, and Dazai wonders if Mori truly is a miracle worker. It takes a maximum of 45 minutes before Chuuya steps on the deck, then spots him. The tracker he's wearing is evident and beeps red, a matching shade of the slug's ability as he floats and lands beside him. Before Chuuya can get a word out, Dazai cocks his head. They sent you alone? How imbecilic. Chuuya predictably bristles. You're imbecilic. The chopper's on its way. I just happen to be the fastest thing that can place an accurate tracker here. The signal's shit. Oh my, Chibi. How come you traumatize civilians by letting them witness a flying slug? Zip it, asshole. He stomps on the container they're on top of, causing the metal to wobble loudly. I'm starting to miss when we had no idea where the hell you were. I'm basically still nowhere. You being here doesn't change any of that. Dazai points out while sticking his tongue, in which Chuuya sticks his back stubbornly. Makes me wish for nothing more but to jump off, honestly. Likewise, though you should be fucking grateful we found you. Chuuya places a hand on his hip as he surveys the ocean. 2 more days and you would have ended up in Russia. Russia! Dazai whips his head to him, then pauses. That doesn't sound too bad, actually. Chuuya scoffs. You like the idea of getting hypothermia? Dazai gasps in mock offense, while Chuuya simply rolls his eyes before unceremoniously sitting next to him, hands in his pockets. There is a mere second of peace. Then, the shorter suspiciously grins. So, which one's yours? Dazai points at the prominent one midst hundreds of others. Green, with the electrical cables all around. Seriously, how can they mistake this for a cargo one? I wonder how, Chuuya mumbles sarcastically, which she ignores. They labeled me as toxic and highly flammable. Highly flammable, Chuuya! He exclaims in utter disbelief. The redhead snickers. Right on the nose, too. Hey! Chuuya's busy stifling his giggles, hand clasped onto his mouth while his shoulders quiver. Dazai doesn't give him the satisfaction of pouting or whining, just stares flatly at him. It's even more surreal to witness it in person. Once Chuuya regains his bearings, to the best of his ability at least, he speaks amidst his chuckles. You want to roam for a new shipping container when we get back? Dazai doesn't process why Chuuya's offering, but no, I'd like my own, thanks. Aren't you here to float it back for me? The redhead pauses in sudden surprise. You can't be serious. One look at Dazai and he screams, You are? Dazai, He's chuckling again, more persistently. Chuuya's beginning to redden, leaning onto him while shaking his head. Okay, now he can't keep himself from frowning. What's the slug's problem today? I need to retrieve my stuff, please. Chuuya wipes a tear, clutching at his stomach. Please, as if I hadn't realized you basically live in that outfit. What else could you possibly need from there, aside from probably an ungodly amount of bandage rolls? For how true this is, Dazai refuses to back down. The stored canned crab in my fridge? The shorter pushes his shoulders slightly. Just shut the fuck up, okay? God, I can't believe you. Chuuya's back to being in hysterics at this point, which is getting annoying. Dazai waits until the fit subsides, simply staring at the hat rack to make him feel stupid. But apparently it isn't working. His eye softens a little. Chuuya's rarely laughed this much since they'd met. Probably never since Verlaine barged into the redhead's life unannounced. Somehow, the fact that he's still capable of doing so is comforting in its own way. It's still at his pride's expense, though, and the brunette can't have that. And where should I be staying, oh wise one? He crosses his arms, intent. I'm not going through the trouble of installing electricity to a new sea van. Forget it. He says as if he isn't already a vagabond. Chuuya's cheeks must hurt from laughing so much, as he tries and fails to stop grinning, teeth present as he speaks. Stay at Oda-san's. Too boring. Ongo-san's? He's too secretive. I don't know. Who else can stand living with you without blowing their freaking brains out? He shrugs, finally reduced to a smile. I know I can't. Dazai, this time, is the one who grins at the other knowingly, and revels in Chuuya's horror-stricken face. That's the ultimate goal. I just said... Does Chuuya not yet realize that tormenting him is Dazai's raison d'etre? He really is dumb. No, you're not staying a single second. Chuuya dreadfully exclaims, but he must know that his fate's been determined. I'll kick you out. I'll break in. I'll get a Doberman, the breed you're scared of. I have a gun with me at all times. Chuuya kicks his ankle in genuine anger. Dazai lets him. You're sick. I refuse to share my space with you. His face contorts into a scowl. I can't stand breathing the same air as you do, let alone stay with you every single waking second. This will be torture. He desperately tries, like it all truly depends on what Dazai decides. And Dazai's a piece of shit, so he makes it clear that he won't drop it, even if he's equally appalled by the idea. You'll have to get used to it from now on, Slug. No! Chuuya covers his face and lies back with a thud on the container. My peace, he wails in woe. Say goodbye. My privacy. What's that? My stuff. The redhead rubs his eyes while he fakes sobs. Just to get his point across, Dazai steals his fedora, and Chuuya springs up with a snarl. Our stuff. He stares at the hat in disgust. Except for this one. You certainly aren't beating the hat rack allegations, Chuuya. It's incredibly ugly. You know exactly why I wear it, bastard. Chuuya's arm swings. Dazai dodges. Hey, don't put that on your head. Ew! Ew? That's new. Your hair is a freaking mess. Actually, you look horrendous overall. Chuuya snatches his fedora and flicks his forehead before he can steal it back. Mean, Dazai whines, rubbing at his forehead, then subconsciously strokes his hair. Oh, I'm mean all right. I'll have you know that the entirety of the Port Mafia is aware of what happened by now. Made sure Yomino told everyone. Dazai gapes at the evil grin Chuuya provides, vowing to make his life eternal hell the moment they inevitably live together. That'll show him. Chuuya, unbeknownst to the horrors he'll face in the future, perks in remembrance. That reminds me. How did you let any of this happen in the first place? I heard you vivisect whoever steps onto your territory. Oh. Dazai's face blanks, then deadpans. Mori-san put me in a coma. He what? Like I'm telling you. Dazai shrugs, feigning innocence, as the whirring of a helicopter approaches. Chuuya stares like he knows he's exaggerating, then grins as he grasps what he's insinuating. We're pranking him to death when we get back, aren't we? Dazai smirks back, equally devilish. You know it. I headcanon that Chuuya is a total gossip. Like it'll start out fine, and you might be able to keep it a secret, but as soon as Chuuya gets wind of it,